everybody, this is Bob from Buckeye Sports Center. Excited today to take a look at the new 2021 Axis A22. This is the #1 selling boat in the Axis lineup. It has been for several years. They've made some cool, over the last couple of years, they've made some cool upgrades and changes to this model. Really, this model, 22-foot size, wide bow, pickle fork style, is really one of the better values in the marketplace for somebody looking for a good wake boat. A lot of cool features, a lot of the same features that form the wake that what Malibu has, which is the sister company of Axis, but not without breaking the bank. So let's take a look at the A22. So we're starting off in the bow area here. Obviously you've got kind of a little bit more edgier, pickle fork style bow, very, very wide, almost like a deck boat. So, at least 3 people can kind of sit across this bow area and have a lot of space to work. But the other thing that I'll point out, as far as the hull is concerned, Axis is, again, a sister company to Malibu, and with the hull, you don't get one, common question is, well, the Axis is probably made cheaper than the Malibu. From the hull perspective, literally from the fit and finish perspective, it's really all the same. It's the exact same fiberglass mold. They go down the line the same as the Malibu. Basically, you're just looking at feature and content differences, not build quality differences. So, this hull, A22, great riding hull, very smooth, super thick, high-end gel coats. So as we move into the features and benefits and different things that this A22 has, one thing that's pretty important, you look at Malibu for many, many years has had Power Wedge. They've had surf gate. Axis has had surf gate now for several years, but last couple of years they've actually had the option of having Power Wedge. So the Power Wedge basically is like simulating up to 1,500 pounds of additional ballast without actually adding additional weight. It's adjustable, so you can actually maneuver and tweak your wave. So if you wanted a little bit steeper, shorter wave versus a longer, more mellow wave, you can actually adjust that on the fly right at the dash. So this system with the surf gate, system with these surf plates will engage outward and inward, and the Power Wedge, you actually have the exact same wake shaping characteristics as what a Malibu has. So that's pretty cool, even on an Axis. So you're not really missing out on a wake shaping feature. You can still get that on Axis at this lower price point. So one cool thing, a couple years ago, Axis and Malibu came out with their own trailers. So they actually build them right alongside, right at a factory kind of across the street. So you actually have a custom-made trailer by Axis for this boat. So that's pretty cool, because a lot of times you get into maybe a more value-priced boat and you get some aftermarket trailer that doesn't fit that great, but you get a nice custom trailer on this Axis A22 and all Axis models. So as you move up inside the A22, the first thing is with the new redesign that they made on this a year or 2 ago, you actually have these cool little kind of staging seats. So as you're boarding up or booting up, you're actually got to kind of have this cool little seat. There's kind of a step up into the cockpit area, into the engine area. Also, this one's got the stereo pack 2, which includes the transom remote, so you can adjust your tunes without having to get up inside the boat, grab your phone, or go to the dash. So it's again, things you don't normally find on maybe a more value-oriented boat in a towboat world, but it comes with the Axis. So everybody's always wondering about engines and what engine's coming in this boat. For a long time in the wake boat world, they always used to kind of use I don't want to say a chintzy or a kind of an underpowered, no technology engine on a lower price point boat in the category. They used to have like a 5.7 300 or a 5.7 330. Which are kind of old engine technologies, low torque curves, but that was always like the entry-level boat. But it's pretty cool that Axis now manufactures their own engine, the Monsoon 5.3 liter direct fuel injection. It has over 400 foot-pounds of torque, and really is an adequate engine, for this boat and even some bigger Malibus. So this is the exact same engine that's standard on all the smaller to mid-size Malibus, all the way up to a 23-footer. It's standard on all the Axis models as well, but has a high torque curve. That direct injection is a high-end technology, increases fuel efficiency. It's a quieter motor, so really top of the line engine. That a lot of companies are still using kind of older school engines in their entry level or lower price point wake boats. So that's really kind of a strategic advantage that Axis has on this particular setup. So as we move into the cockpit of the A22, I always like really in this boat, it really feels a lot bigger than a 22 footer. They really do a great job utilizing the space and how it's set up. So with all this space in here on both sides, obviously you've got plenty of cup holders, different things like that to, shove your cell phone or cup holders on both sides. You've got 4 cockpit speakers here in the cockpit that are all included as part of the standard package. Again, a lot of times you're not going to see that in a in a boat that's kind of considered more of a value-oriented boat. Cool billet grab handles, just gives it a little extra look, a little extra edgier look to the boat. High density upholstery, which is actually the same density that the Malibu is using. 2 different textures built into this boat, which is pretty cool. This one also has this pretty cool slider seat. So if you did want to open up the middle of the boat a little bit, maybe have some more people facing backwards, you can actually slide this all the way here. There's actually an optional backrest kit you can get to it, but at the very least, if you've got people, you just want to kind of see what's going on without having to kind of tilt sideways or whatever, you can do that on this boat as well. So tower is obviously key, element to all these wake boats. This really heavy duty, durable tower, kind of an edgier looking tower, but it's loaded with extra features that, again, you're not normally going to find on a more value oriented boat. This one's got the swivel board racks, so you can actually pivot the board racks in and out without having to get climb over the side of the boat, which is pretty cool. If you do need to tilt the tower down to get into a garage, you just have a quick clip to undo. There's no thumb screws or anything that you can mess threads up and all that type of stuff. So it's a really quick process to get the tower down. This one's got the optional Bimini top, which is included. So it's really, good coverage over the middle of the cockpit here. You actually, on the top portion of this, I believe you've got surf pockets, so you can store surfboards pretty easily on the top of the Bimini to give you additional storage space, which is really cool. Tower speakers, obviously, 1 pair of speakers, wet sounds, high quality tower speakers. Sounds obviously super important, and we can see it right under the dash is the subwoofer that's included on the stereo package that you get with this Malibu, an Axis product. So that's, again, pretty cool there. Loaded with tower-oriented features. If we look at the flooring of the boat, this is upgraded to the matted flooring. So it gives you a little bit more cushiony feel without having to do old school carpet. So again, a really modern design, very, say edgy, really cool setup on this A22. So as we move into the dash area of the A22, this is one of the big things that you'll notice from a perspective of what's different between the Axis and Malibu. Where's Malibu get more of the price going up? And on the Malibu, you've got the big digital screen. On the Axis, you have a pretty traditional, simple gauge setup. So nothing too crazy. Everything's easy to get to though. All your ballast controls are super convenient. Blower, bilge pump, traditional gauge setup. You do have a little small digital screen up there, so you can see which direction the surf gate's at. You can see what your speed's set to. Some quick information on that middle screen. You also have your power wedge control here on the right hand side, some optional features, other things you've got to control there. So overall, pretty simple dash. That's one of the savings things, but a lot of people prefer that. Maybe they don't like the digital touchscreen and all that stuff. Maybe they want to keep it a little bit more simple. So that's a cool thing. The little things like the bolster seat is available on this A22, so if you want to dock the boat a little easier, you can do that as well. Nice digital shift control. Again, simple design, but it's conveniently located. I'm not putting my elbow in a weird spot in order to use it. It's pretty easy and convenient to use. The other thing I like about this is that your battery switch location is really convenient. Rather than having to go back by the motor and undo some compartments, it's actually right down. Driver doesn't even have to get out of his seat in order to flip the battery on and off. So that's a pretty cool location for that you're not normally going to see. Okay, so bow seating, as we talked about earlier, is just super awesome on this A22 for a 22-foot boat. Probably the most bow seating I've seen in a boat this size. So really wide. 3 people could actually sit facing and seeing the action if they wanted to. Obviously, you could get multiple people sitting in different directions here, to make it convenient. And it's also very deep. It's not a shallow bow, so you really feel comfortable in it. You've got padding all the way around. You do have, nice billet grab handles, little cell phone storage area, so plenty of space. The other cool thing that they changed on this model a year or 2 ago is that your battery storage is actually located up here underneath the bow seat. So rather than, that moves additional weight up to the bow area. It also saves you storage space on the side. I think it was a pretty good move to move the batteries out of the side compartment and up to the bow. Balances the boat a little bit better. And then this particular boat's also optional. And actually, I'll mention it too in the back. You can get 3 optional ballast bags that would supplement and enhance the performance. One of them you can add up here, kind of a U-shaped bag. You also can add additional weight to either side in the back, in addition to the standard ballast tank. So this boat has 3 standard ballast tanks. You can add 3 optional bags to enhance the weight. You add all of that together with the power wedge, and you're talking about an amazing amount of wake. And truthfully, in a value-oriented boat at this price point, the A22 Axis probably gives you the most wave you can get for the dollar. So, a lot of people think that once you enhance this up, you add the extra weight, you're talking about having a wave very similar to the very, very popular 23 LSV Malibu boat. So that's a lot of cool, that's a lot of weight and a lot of wake quality for the price here in this A22. Thanks guys for checking out the 2021 A22 with us here at Buckeye Sports Center. If you liked the video, please give it a like on YouTube. Subscribe to our page. We really appreciate that to get more traction on people, if you enjoyed our videos. For more information, to view all of our Axis inventory, visit BuckeyeSportsCenter.com. Thanks for watching.